Now, folks, we're going to change gears a little bit. We welcome back to the show Louisiana Senator Mr. John Kennedy. Senator Kennedy, welcome, sir. We appreciate your coming on.
Thank you, Larry.
You may have heard some of my colloquy with my colleagues Aaron Cohn and Victoria Coates about the war and breaking open the Strait of Hormuz. I didn't know if you wanted to make a comment on any of that.
I'll give you one person's opinion. We have accomplished in Iran what we set out to do. Why did we go in? Our intelligence, our spies said Iran is manufacturing in a massive amount conventional weapons, drones, missiles, launchers, so they can turn to Israel and America and say, we're about to restart our weapons program, nuclear warhead program, and if you bomb us again as you did last June, you can do it, but we'll destroy the Middle East. And by the way, our missiles can reach Berlin and Paris and London. President Trump couldn't allow that to happen. He went in, he stopped that. We have injured severely both the public and private sector of Iran. It'll be 20 years, probably cost $1 trillion for them to recover. Have we secured their fissile material? No, we haven't. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to send in troops, which I don't support. I wouldn't wait around for a promise from the religious nuts who are running Iran, because they lie like fish swim. Any promise they make about negotiating in the future, they're not going to keep. Here's whatever I'd make two final points. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it. And number two, the deal I would make with Iran is, look, you open up the Strait of Hormuz, and I'll remove the blockade so your people can eat and live indoors. And if Iran took that deal, I'd come home. Why does that? Why is there less risk in that? Because all of Iran, we can fly anywhere we want to over Iran. They have no more air defenses, and our spies will know within a minute if they restart the nuclear program, and we can go in and bomb them again.
Well, I think those are well considered. I appreciate the thoughts. Senator, if I may, let me turn to domestic matters in the economy. You've said for a long time, Democrats will never let the GOP get a budget through. They just won't vote for it. So it's got to be done through reconciliation. 50 votes plus the vice president equals 51. Now, I'm seeing Senator Thune seems to be sympathetic towards the third reconciliation bill, and I'm seeing we have Jody Arrington, the budget chair in the House, coming on later in the show. He seems to want it. Ways and Means Committee seems to want it. Jason Smith. I'm hoping you could get some, additional tax relief, maybe inflation indexing capital gains, perhaps other things. How about waste, fraud, and corruption, withhold grants? And we're also seeing some interesting ideas. Senator Blackburn had one, a House member Fedarcho from North Dakota had one on a real ID, or somehow getting through a simpler Save America kind of voting reform. So it just seems like movement glacially is picking up a little bit. Got to be done in the next 4 to 6 weeks. How do you see it, Senator Kennedy?
Well, I want a third reconciliation too. Our bill too. I also want a Porsche for my birthday. It's not going to happen. We're running out of time. We have a number of bills that we have to pass. We've got to do something about FISA. We've got the NDAA, and the housing bill, the crypto bill, and somehow you would have to fit in a third reconciliation, which would require all the Republicans to work together. They're not working together right now. That's all complicated by the fact that we're not going to pass a budget Senator Schumer has instructed my Democratic friends to vote no on the budget. His game plan is to wait until the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th, and then he's going to shut government down before the midterms to create as much chaos as possible. So do I want a third reconciliation bill? Yes. Do I have a lot of ideas which ought to be in it, of what ought to be in it? Yes. But I see the world as it is, not as I want it to be.
But look, midterm elections out there, I dare say the economy is outperforming expectations. I understand gasoline prices, but that may wither away as the war draws to a close. But wouldn't the GOP want some additional product? For example, Senator, the vice president's doing a great job on waste, fraud, abuse, corruption, all this stolen money by interest groups. Emmett Oz in Los Angeles, for example, and Minnesota and other places. And there's a lot of talk now. How about withholding the money, in a sense, clawing back the losses from all this corruption and stealing? That is so popular. You know, I mean, I look at John McLaughlin. He's a very good pollster. His polls show sky-high popularity. And so the Save America Act on voting is popular. The California election is a bit of a fiasco, the way it's played out. Wouldn't those things be good for the midterms and the GOP?
Well, first, let me say I think Dr. Oz is doing an extraordinary job in fighting Medicaid reform or Medicaid fraud. But let me tell you what I think's going on. Look, I've known you a long time. I'm not going to bubble wrap it, and I'm not going to lie to you. I think the issue on the minds of most Americans right now is the cost of living. When moms and dads lie down to sleep at night, and they can't, they're not worried about Iran. I'm not saying they don't care, but they're not worried about Iran. They're not worried about immigration. They think the southern border is secure because it is. President Trump secured it. They're not worried about cultural issues that much. They're not worried about whether a man can breastfeed. They're worried about the cost of living. And this inflation is hurting people. And middle-class Americans look around and they see too many undeserving people at the top getting bailouts and too many undeserving people at the bottom getting handouts, and they're getting stuck with the bill, and they can't afford it. And we need to address that. And Happy Talk's not going to do that. You have to look people in the eye and say, I understand. Here's why it's happening. Here's what we have done about it. Here's what we're going to do about it. But you can't tell them, no, you can't feel like you feel. You shouldn't believe your lying checkbook, because I'm telling you what they're worried about. I've been out there. I've been in every battleground states. And the American people, at least our middle class, our voters, they're not happy right now.
So I agree about cost of living. Now, I think there's more to it than that. But let's just see. I agree, okay? You're on to something, Senator. No doubt about it. I would think, if I were in the Senate or the House, I would want to codify all the good deeds that Dr. Oz and J.D. Vance and everybody, Oversight Committee, you know, claw back the money that was stolen from taxpayers, deny the grants, deny the funds, don't let this stuff happen again. I mean, Doge was popular when Elon Musk was riding high a little over a year ago. I'm just saying, I'd want to go there, Senator.
Well, all those are splendid ideas, and I want to go there too. But in order for it to happen, all members of the House on my side of the aisle are going to have to work with the Speaker, and at least 50 members, if we do it through reconciliation, of the Senate on my side of the aisle have got to work together. And that has not been the case for the last few months. That's just, I mean, I see what you see. That's just a natural fact. And it's great to say, you know, I want a third reconciliation bill. I've been saying that for 6 months. I've said it about a squillion times on your show.
Yes.
But I also want a Porsche for my birthday, and I'm not likely to get it.
Well,
and if we're going to get a reconciliation bill a third time, we got to saddle up and ride hard, and the president's got to join with us.
All right. Well, you know, every Friday night I watch the Dutton Ranch talking about saddling up. It's a great TV show, and I'm going to help you stir the pot. I tell you that every time you're on, from your book to other appearances on set. I'm going to try to stir the pot, Senator Kennedy. But we thank you for coming back on, sir.
You're a rock star, Kudlow. Hey, take the rest of the day off, okay?
We have more work to do, Senator. But you take care of yourself. We'll talk soon.